What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We're getting ready for my man Cory Coleman to tap in. Putting on echo. Let me turn the mute off. Put the mute on. All right, now we better. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully y'all tuned in, tapped in, getting ready to listen to Mr. Cory Coleman. We're gonna listen to some of the things he has to say here. I'm waiting for him to accept the invitation so that that way we can go live, we can get some answers, have a conversation about him. So I'm waiting for you, Cory. When you join in, we're gonna figure this thing out. Like I said, this is new technology for me. This is new technology for me, so I'm working all the kinks out. Just give me 1 second. I'm waiting for him to come in, y'all. All right. I sent the invitation. I'm waiting for Cory to join us so we can get some good information from him. Mom, don't mind me while I get on this phone. I'm going to text him, make sure everything went through. All right, he said he needed a little bit more time. He said he needed about a couple minutes to go. So we're going to sit here. We're going to wait for Cory. We get everything arranged. So that way everything's all good. But I mean, until Cory join us, how everybody doing out there? You know what I mean? Like, hopefully everybody having a good day. You know, I like to start my days with a positive note, a positive message. You know, I'll be on Facebook, going live every now and again, sharing some information and just having a good talk, uplifting people. You know, I'm gonna talk about Cory a little bit before he comes on. Like, Cory, I've been knowing Cory, I want to say my entire life. You know, friend of the family. I pretty much grew up around him, growing up as a youngster. I spent a lot of time at his house, you know, with his mother, Miss Janice. She played a big role in my life. You know, I'm appreciative of the relationship that him and I have built, you know, and created. I remember, like I was telling Jesse the other day, like I remember sitting on Cory's shoulders. You know what I mean? Like Cory used to take me places, carry me on his shoulders and stuff like that. I remember cheering for him at the basketball games, over at Central, then going again. And you know, like I've been knowing Cory, like I said, I've been knowing Cory my entire life. So I'm definitely honored that he's interested to come on here and have this conversation with me. I'm definitely I feel like it's gonna be a great thing. I feel like it's gonna be a great conversation. We're gonna get some good insight from him. We're gonna highlight him and some of his accomplishments. We're gonna talk about him and his journey, you know what I mean, and some of the things that entails. And we're also, like I said, we're gonna get us some insight on maybe some things that we could possibly do. You know what I mean? To kind of come together, to work together, and just have a positive conversation amongst men. You know what I mean? Black men. So Cory just sent me a message. He said he's gonna be a couple minutes. He said he need like 2 minutes, so I'm not exactly sure if he's downloading all the information, the equipment, or whatever the case may be. So I'm gonna sit here and wait patiently for him. But you know, hopefully everybody who's tuned in, you know, is looking forward to seeing something good. You know what I mean? You're interested in hearing some good information, some good content. I think this is going to be a good one. This is not Cory's first time interviewing with me. When I did it the first time around, Cory was one of the first people I reached out to, and he was excited about it. He was very interested in having this conversation. He was interested in talking to me and sharing some information, and he had a lot of good things to say. He highlighted what him and his team are doing over there in his camp at the Keystone Academy. And as far as talking about the things that they have going on and things that they're getting ready to do. So, I mean, I know it look a little. This is difficult for me. You know what I mean? I got a camera in front of me, and I'm not running the camera off my laptop. So, you know what I mean? It's gonna look like I'm a little. Let me see if I can readjust this so then that way. All right, boom. I think that's a little bit better. So yeah, Cory comes on here. You know what I mean? We're gonna have a good conversation. We're gonna have a good talk and ask some questions, man. Like I want to see y'all in the comment section. I told y'all yesterday. Oh no, I'm in the wrong box. But I told y'all yesterday, like this is all new for me. I'm working new technology. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get everything going, rolling smooth because I want this to be a serious thing. And what's crazy is like I had some interesting conversations about, you know, different people, you know, wanting to do different things with me in a matter of 24 hours. You know what I mean? Like just people are appreciating the efforts that I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say us because we were working hard together. You know what I mean? So people are putting appreciating the efforts that we're putting forth. People are appreciating what we are doing, the conversations that we are having. I had a good conversation with my therapist today about what was going on, and she was just excited about it. And she said this is something that needs to happen, you know, all over for real. So I'm glad that, and I do telehealth. You know, she's from Philadelphia, So, I'm glad that even that, just being able to share, the information with my therapist and talk to her about some of the things that we're doing up here in Erie, Pennsylvania, and how, encouraging she was about it, how inspired she was about it, that just makes me feel that much better about what I'm doing. And like I said, not had to come from an outside source, but even just, people who know me, you know what I mean? People who have reached out to me, like my dad called me last night and told me how proud he was of me. That made me feel real good. There are more people reaching out saying that they were interested in doing some interviews. That made me feel real good. You know what I mean? So then, we're gonna get to the point to where, like I said, we're gonna get to the point to where we start getting some of the ladies on here. We start having some conversations with some of the ladies, and I guess it's kind of like I would like to like pick their brain a little bit to kind of get some insight, get some information, see how they feel about the fellas, you know what I mean, or see how they feel about life, see how they feel about the changes that need to be made, different things of that nature. So, I want everybody to stay tuned. I want more people to get involved. We got Cory chiming in. He just got in, so I'm about to add him to the stream. What's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
What's up with you? I can hear you. Can you
You
hear
hear
me?
me? I can't hear you.
Hold on, let me get.
You see, maybe it's the headphones. Let me see. I might have to take these headphones.
Can you hear me now?
Say something, bro.
Can you hear me?
I might have to do it without the headphones and just use the computer speakers then. I don't know if it's me. So I can hear myself. And hold on, let me just turn this thing off. All right, can you say something, bro? Oh man, you can hear me though. I said it's new equipment. Let me see. Hold on. Let me audio speaker. Cory. Oh man, and you saying you can
Can
hear
you hear me
me?
now?
I heard. Yeah. Okay. So maybe
Okay.
it was you. Let me try to.
Yeah.
All right, go for it. Let me see if I can hear you.
Test,
Yeah.
test, test,
All right, got
test.
you, got you.
All right.
All right, so yeah, man. Like I said, I don't even think I need this thing. I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you coming back on here to have this conversation with me. You know what I mean? Like I was going on. I was talking a little bit before you came on, and we're just talking about like the relationship that you and I have, and me knowing you all my life, and be
Right.
hanging with you and Bobby, and you know what I mean, Miss Janice up there. So
That's
like
right.
I knew you. It wouldn't be a problem to get you on here to have this conversation. Which I could have did this at home, fine, but you know what I mean? So I figured I'd get you on here. Like you was one of my picks, and I know everybody would have picked you to come on here to just kind of talk about some things and kind of highlight you a little bit. I'm gonna ask you some questions and let you drop some gems on us, and we're gonna go from there.
Right.
So
Right. Cool.
I'm gonna start off by asking like so, and I asked JT this the other day, but like, what made you interested in wanting to do this again?
Just sharing, man. I think I've realized that my life is dedicated to giving. Right. So just whatever I can. You know what I mean? Whatever I can give, whatever knowledge, experience. Maybe I'm doing something now that someone else wants to do. I want to pass the buck. You know what I mean? Nothing that we have we can take with us. So I want to make sure that the things that I pour my passion into gets passed on. To continue and to keep going. So knowledge is the fuel to all that, right? So whatever knowledge I do have, I want to give it away.
Okay, all right. I like to hear it. I like to hear it. So, and then, like I said, I'm doing this. We highlighting people, we putting people on the spotlight. I kind of gave a little introduction before you came on, but kind of tell us a little bit about who you are for the people who don't know who you are.
Yeah, that's first I'm a child of God, man. That's first and foremost, man. I'm a king, right? I'm a son of a king. Um, but after that, man, it's I'm a husband, I'm a father. Um, I I strive to be a good role model for kids, for the youth. I strive to pour in the youth. I think my life's calling is to kind of affect the next generation, right? Is to pour into young men, young black men, young men, period. Um, and that's who I am, man. I think that's who God called me to be, is to just kind of be a shepherd of wisdom, a shepherd of finances, a shepherd of gifts, of everything. I think it, right at this point in my life, man, it's about I've accumulated what I need to accumulate it. Now it's time to give it away, right?
Okay.
And that's just where I'm at. You know what I mean? Nothing really shakes me too much at this point in my life. If you know me, I don't get too hype or too crazy about anything, because nothing's really that important, right? Life is life. So yeah, that's where I'm at, man. That's who I am. That's me.
Okay. All right. So outside of your character, the things of that. What are you? So I know you're running the Keystone Kings, right? Keystone Academy.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
and I know we talked out about that a little bit, but like I said, hopefully we have a new audience. So like, what inspired you to want to do that? Like, what made you feel like, what, I'm about to
That's
take this thing
cool.
to the next level?
Yeah, man. You know what? It's crazy because no, everyone thinks it's just basketball, right? And basketball is a passion. Like we always use basketball as a tool to reach the young people who were interested in basketball. But my vision now is bigger than that, right? My vision now is actually, I've been talking to a lot of funders. I've been talking to a lot of government officials about new age education.
Okay.
I remember, and the big thing for me is, I'm a college graduate, and I would say in my lifetime, I probably use about 10% of the things I've been educated on, right? So I'm just wondering, with these new industries that our kids are coming into. You just think about it. I mean, look on Facebook. You got Bitcoin groups, you got crypto groups, you got NFTs. Now you got the business of NIL for youth. You've got social media marketing. You've got branding. You got all these kids talking about these things at a young age than what we taught. What, at least in my generation, we weren't exposed to any of that life stuff. In my generation, we weren't even exposed to how to balance a checkbook, right? And when it wasn't online. So I can imagine how far behind our youth, and particularly our inner city youth,
Mm-hmm.
right, are behind when they go out into the world, if they don't go to college or if they don't catch up. So my heart now is in a new way of educating our kids. And so the school, what better do that than to launch a school, right? Basketball is also a passion, and I knew that the basketball part of it would do the marketing for me, right?
Okay.
But the things that we're working on in the school, we're talking to agents to talk about contracts, right? We got a bunch of lawyers that are going to teach our kids about clause and contracting. Obviously, the NIL stuff is big. The business of the game, right? If you are fortunate enough to get paid in the game, financial literacy for me is huge, right? So we want to get folks in there pouring into our young people about financial literacy, cryptocurrency, what it is. We want to be talking about these industries that this generation of students are going to be walking into. Social media conduct, social media brand, personal brand, all that matters, right? In the world that they're going into. I call it, these kids are going into an automated world. We didn't have that,
Right.
and so we want to start to set curriculum where our kids are getting that type of education. Now we're setting the foundation for that now at Keystone Academy, but we're going to be that education center that not only teaches the core stuff, what your traditional high schools teach, but also teach kids how to go out and live in the world if they don't accomplish whatever they need to accomplish in sport, right? So that's the total vision for the school. And I think, to be honest with you, outside of the pitch meetings that I've been having in school, I've never really said that playing publicly. You're the first to get that. So,
Okay. All right.
uh, but yeah, so Keystone Academy it's more than basketball. And we're working on some really, really innovative things in education to start to prepare our kids to live a life, where they know, right? There's not someone else managing their money, managing their life, and they don't know what's going on, right? To take ownership of their life in that way. So that's the real kind of sauce behind Keystone Academy. The basketball stuff of it, I went to Oak Hill Academy. I played for Oak Hill Academy. And ever since, my junior year, I was 1996, I've always had that vision that I'm going to bring this to Erie. Oak Hill used to come to Erie for the McDonald's Classic. And that's how I actually went to Oak Hill, is just watching them, like, and my dad was like, "You're going to Oak Hill." So he took me up there, tried out, and the rest is history. But when I was there, I always said, like, Erie needs this, right? Because Oak Hill is in the mouth of Wilson, Virginia. It's probably a population of about 300 people in the whole town.
Really?
And then there's Oak Hill Academy right there, which has another population of girls and boys, about 300 people. So it's not a big city. But if you mention high school basketball, everybody mostly in the world knows Oak Hill Academy, right? Why not Erie? Why not have a gym like that in Erie? And that's what we're building. We're building, something that's equal to what Oak Hill Academy it was and is in Mount Wilson. We'll be building that in Erie. And it's going to bring a lot of eyeballs to the community, right? It's going to shine a really, really positive light on the Erie community, especially when you see minorities running something good, right? They say, Erie, right now, the stat is that Erie is the worst place to live in America for Black folks. I was just reading an article that came out in one of the sub publications about that and some of the stats. That doesn't have to be, because Erie's just the place. It's people and mindset, right? And for real, from that standpoint, you would think, man, starting a school, that's impossible. Like, who starts a school? No, you can do anything you want to do. When you network with the right people, or you can go to the right places to ask, you can do anything you want to do. And I see Erie, I see big business coming into Erie. I've been in the pharmaceutical space for 20 years, and I've been asking some of the council and why haven't we pitched any pharmaceutical companies? We're by a body of water, which is what we need. We got empty manufacturing plants. You go up to Kalamazoo, Michigan, they're thriving. Pfizer's up there thriving. Everyone works for Pfizer. You know what I mean? Why can't Erie be a place like that? We have major airports right by us. We got a big body of water. And we got manufacturing plants. There could easily be, 3,000 jobs created in Erie with a plan like that to go after some of these industries that'll never go away. Right. Now all the tide raises all shit. Now Erie, people are making money. You know what I mean? People are spending more money. I see on Facebook, we should have a club, or we should have this. Well, people aren't working. There's no use to having clubs and things like that. People aren't spending money. They can't live a good life. So, affordable wage, things like that in Erie. I just see Erie as a gem, and I want to build in my hometown. And I just got this heart that, I'm going to invest back into Erie, and, with brothers like you coming up and some of the groups. I don't know if this has been public. I hope I'm not letting any cat out the bag. It's going to be public anyways. Well, it's on the news, but 100 Black men just formed in Erie.
What? That's crazy. Somebody asked me about that today. I haven't heard about it, but somebody asked me about that today.
We just got approved for a national chapter. Marcus Atkinson is kind of spearheaded going to the national. So now you got our Black men in Erie with access to something that's a multinational and international enterprise for support. There's no reason for us to not thrive now, because now we're forming these partnerships that are going to help us kind of get our wheels rolling. Once the wheels start rolling, you're going to be here. Oh man, you got to go to Erie popping. They doing it over there. Right. And all your conversations that you've been having it fits right into that mode. Right. You know what I mean? And it's going to start with us. It's going to start with the Black men who are in Erie, who are vested in Erie. We're going to build the kingdom.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy that you brought that up, because somebody asked me that today. Like, you heard about this 100 Black men thing in Erie? And I'm like, yeah, no, I haven't heard anything about it. I thought they was talking about some type of march or something. So that's good. You know what I mean? For you to bring that information, especially, like I said, I'm interviewing people. Like, I got a list of 60 people, and everybody's seen
all 60. All 60 have to be in this 100 Black men organization.
Okay. So then on top of that,
go ahead.
Going back to the so when I'm listening to you talk about the academy, though, the Keystone Academy, what it sounds like to me is what you're about to do is pretty much like, as we get older, it's like, why didn't they teach us this stuff in school?
Right.
And that's
how many times have you said that?
Right.
Since you've been out of school.
Right.
got to change that narrative. The education system has always been about 20 years behind. Always. It just is. From college to it just is what it is. But for lack of a better term, we don't have to tolerate it.
Right. I was just
Someone's
about
got to
to say,
be innovative.
yeah. How do you get the authority to like, or do you need like, do you got to change the curriculum, or do you add extra time? Do you shorten periods? Like, how do you, or do you incorporate it with the lessons that's already being provided?
No, well, think about it. Every, especially in college prep world, right? It runs similar to a college. So you're gonna have your elective. It's just what you choose to teach with those electives. Then the
Oh,
second part of that is just getting them accredited, right, by the state. The states. Once you get them accredited, now you're actually kind of officially can put it on transcripts and things like that. But what you teach in your elective is what you teach, and so the curriculum itself can be built around those core courses, right? That are need for college entrance and that. And so it's cool, man. It's really neat to kind of bring this to light. Once we figure it out, we're very early now. We're only 1 year in. Once we figure it out, man, it's going to be a gem, right? It's going to be something special, and I hope someone else duplicates it, right? I hope it becomes something that gets duplicated in practice, because then we can reach more people, we can reach
right.
more students, right? If we do that. So, I'll be the guinea pig.
Okay. So then outside of that, like I heard you mention, like your father signed you up for the school. So
Yes.
like when you talk about like you being a young black man growing up, living in the area, whatever, like what was that like for you? Like what was life like for you growing up around here for you to get to it? Because I look at you like a successful person. You're doing big things. So like what was your, I guess your story leading up to, like what was
Yeah.
it like for you?
Yeah. I'm real big on where I came from. Yeah, I talked to my wife, man. I'm like, I'm never forgetting where I came from. Man. I'm real big on that. 25th Street, right? 25th Street. That's my street. That's my neighborhood, right? Actually, I was in the area a couple of days ago, and I rode through and I stopped at my old house, 229 East 25th Street. It's dilapidated now. It's all crazy. And I just prayed right there, man. I just was thanking God. I was thanking God for that beginning right there. It was just, I was up in Erie, was that Tuesday? I parked, stopped, just thanking God, man, because that's the street that made me. We played basketball in that alleyway right there. The house sits right on the alley. I don't know if you remember.
I know.
You go, the telephone pole was there. That's where our basketball hoop was. That's where my training started, right? That's what got me into this basketball. My big brothers, Larry Gamble, Chris Moss, rest in peace. All that whole, 25th Street neighborhood, man. And Chantel Hilliard, you know, who's now the executive director of the Booker T. Washington Center. So that made me, that shaped me. Derek Reed is doing big things right now. He came from right around the corner. So I look at the people, the older people and the folks that I ran with back then, and they kind of made me who I am. And if you talk to any of them, I think they would say they could predict where I'm at right now. They could
Okay.
predict that, because it's always been that. It's always been vision, and it's always been trying to build something and trying to change something, try to be disruptive. Um, and so for me, 25th Street, like that's the core of Erie. Some would say it's the hood, some would say it's the outer skirts of the hood, but all that, like, just the neighborhood, going down the way, going down the 23rd, playing basketball when I could, at whether Spoons or 17th when the hoop was up, things like that.
Right.
It made me going to Erie One. It made me. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's where I came from. You know what I mean? And I saw all walks of life, coming from there. I was fortunate enough in my home, and it's a blessing. I thank God for it every day. When my dad was there, my mom was there. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, just having that influence of being raised from a man, right? And if anyone know Concrete Pete, he's a man's man, right?
Mhm.
So, he gave me that old school flavor. He gave me the vision. Something I never forget. He told all his boys, all of us sisters and everything. He said, whatever you do in your life, he said, don't ever, ever disrespect the Coleman name. That stuck with me. You know what I mean? He's like, if someone mentions such and such Coleman, make it be good. You know what I mean? And that always stuck with me. And that's kind of a principle that I live by and I try to protect. You know what I mean? I was at visiting him when I was up there and we were just talking about that. He kind of reminded me, he was like, what's the one thing I always told you? And I had to repeat it back to him.
Right.
I'm 43 years old. He treated me
That's
like a
what's up.
12. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
But yeah, man. So that's what made me, man. Is really, the tough parts, the fun parts. It all went down on 25th Street.
Right. So, and it's like, it was interesting to hear you say that. And like, over every person I've interviewed, it seems like it's a common theme because I've been talking to some gentlemen who've accomplished some things in their lives, and what they're doing is they're acknowledging other men who've played a role in their lives. Like, you threw a couple names out there as far as like, because dad isn't always there, or dad can't always
Right.
be present. So like,
Right.
when you think about that, especially, I know you've been doing you started with the coaching thing. So as far as getting involved, like, how important is it? And I'm asking everybody this question: how important is it for other men or us as men to be involved with kids, even when they aren't our own? Excuse me.
To be involved with kids.
That even if they're not your own, like as far as like the influence and impact you can have on a
Yeah,
child.
yeah, yeah. Let's. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna unwind that question a little bit, because just as we need mentors and we need folks, our kids need mentors, right? And to be honest with you, what I'm doing is just the framework of what Kelly Mosley did for me, my dad did for me, Alan Poole did for me, Larry Gates, right in the neighborhood, he was the old head, he did for me. I can go down the line and name a bunch of black men that poured into us and made sure we were good because they saw something good. They saw that we could be something. If we don't keep passing that down to generations, we're doomed to fail, because who else is going to do it, right? Not everyone's fortunate enough to have their dad in their lives like that. I'm talking like molding them, right? Not everyone's fortunate enough to that. So I think I heard you said, I was listening to the JT thing. You said we got to be the dads. Yes, we got to be the dads. For 13 years, I coached with Shannon Pulliam. There's two things I think black men need to do.
Okay.
There's two things in. We need to serve. We need to serve. We need to serve our community, our families, the youth. We need to serve. We need to serve under someone that we aspire to have either characteristics of, or someone we aspire to be, even if it's just be like. We can never be anyone else but ourselves, but someone who's going to help us shape our personal vision. And I took to that. I coached with Shannon. I was his assistant coach for 13 years. Shannon Pulliam. And learned. I was a young boy. He was like, man, come coach with me. He coached me at Central. He was the assistant coach. When I was playing, when I got out, I coached with him for 13 years. Learned tons of things. Not only just life, dealing with his son, his father. And here's what we always said when we were coaching for Strong Vincent. We always had it harder than other schools, right? Because we were a predominantly black team with young black men. But we had to be coaches, we had to be counselors, we had to be fathers, we had to be unc. We played so many different hats. Every man on that coaching staff, you got Hammer, you got Motown. I mean, all the coaches that we had to be those things to the guys that we had in that program. And actually, to be honest with you, although other schools may not have to do that, that's what made that program special. You know what I mean? That's what turned it into a family. It's like it's a fraternity now.
Yeah.
Even now, and Strong Vincent isn't even, it's still a fraternity. Dre, when we see Dre coaching, he get all the support, whatever you need. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's that's necessary. That's as necessary as oxygen for young black men.
Okay.
We have to go back and grab our youth. We have to.
So we said serve. What's the other thing? You said it's two things: serve and what else?
I should have put it in reverse order. I said I should have put be in prayer, meditation, or get our minds right, whatever that means.
Right.
Then serve.
Okay.
Then have a heart of a servant, because in serving, there's two things that's going to happen. You're going to learn and lead. Right? You're going to learn and lead. And I say that because if you don't serve, you can't lead without serving something, right? Um, and so for me to play in a lot of ways, kind of the servant position, if I don't, it's not going to allow me to lead anything because I'm not going to know the folks that I have to take care of. I'm not going to feel what they're feeling if I haven't served before, right?
Right.
If I'm
Okay, that
just
makes
trying to
sense.
tell people to come where I'm going, I don't I don't have any empathy for them because I don't even know where they're at, right?
Right.
So that's why I say serving is so important to becoming who you're going to be, right?
So then, like, as far as so when we get to that point, or we get to that level, because it seems like you have a strong team of individuals around you. You know, you've been molded by a lot of different people. So then, as far as like some of the men who are having a difficult time connecting to something, but want to do something, like what would you suggest? How would you encourage somebody to get involved who's a little, I guess, shaky about getting involved, but actually feels the passion and want to do something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what, man? I'm gonna put my sales hat on now. You gotta communicate. See, sometimes we get ideas or we do things, but we don't communicate them, right? If people don't know, how can they help you, right? I had early on, I had that problem where I would just start doing some stuff and I'd be trying to keep it to myself. But I think it was Paris Baker who told me about success.
Okay.
He was like, you want to be successful? He said, name one person. It might have been Paris Baker. I might be misquoting, but he said, name one person who was successful by themselves without anyone.
Thank you for that.
No one's, you need people. We were made, the creator made us to be in community. That's what we
Right.
were made for. So when you think of a business, if you don't have no customers, you ain't got no business,
Right. Right.
right? If you ain't got no money, you need the bank. You need somebody at the bank to vouch for you. Like think about success. Like in what? And I'm not even talking about financial success. I'm talking about meeting the objective of what you're trying to do, whatever it is. You can think of any situation, right? That's good. You're going to need other people. You're going to need somebody.
Right.
Whether it's you need somebody to notice you, you need some recognition, you need whatever it is. You need customers, you need somebody, whatever it is, you need other people. And so when we have these ideas, it's communicate them and communicate them far and wide, right? Because someone's going to catch your vision, someone's going to take that walk with you. And
Right.
as you keep communicating, more people are going to take that walk with you. Then what you're going to do is you're going to turn around and you're going to see you got people that support you that have the same vision as you because they caught your vision, right? Now it's easy to get your objective done,
Right.
right? Not everyone's going to believe in it. Some people are going to be in other lanes and trying to do it. That's fine. That's okay. But the people who see your vision and who buy into it and they serve, they kind of jump in with you. Those are the people. Those are your people. You got to go with them.
Okay. And then like I'm glad that you said that because I'm learning that like I was saying the other day, last couple of days, like I'm learning to kind of like put myself out there a little bit more, have conversations with different people who come from different walks of life because I'm realizing that it's people who have similar ideas to me. And sometimes me being so attached to the people that I'm attached to, realize that we don't have the like mind. So like that's why I'm doing this and I'm having these conversations. Like, so then as far as like just us as men, us as black men having these type of conversations on a regular basis, like how important do you think that is? Or like, why is this important for people to see, two black men having a conversation? We're not bashing on men, we're not bashing on women. We're not talking negative about politics or religion, but we literally talking progress, positivity, growth, and change. Like, how important is that? And like, how often do you have these type of conversations?
I think it's important, and I think black men would do this in a vacuum, right? When this does happen with black men, it's not really a public forum, right? It's kind of in a vacuum. But I think the same conversations are happening in lots of vacuums, right? So it's uber important because this is a form of communication too, right? So it's uber important to do this and have these conversations because now it's public. Now you kind of know right where someone at. And now, if someone's feeling what you're saying, they can reach out to you and go, hey man, you said this thing. I got this thing. Let's do this. We got synergy. And I'm real big on synergy, man. I don't know why. energy. I don't even know what synergy actually contrives of, but I'm real big on it. I can feel when the vibe is right. I can feel when the vibe's wrong too, right? And
Right.
it's okay. It's okay for the vibe to be wrong. I think when we do this, a lot of people think that you have to like my idea or I have to like your idea. No, it's great to be different because there's a whole different realm of people that you can reach with your vision, and it may be a whole different realm of vision or people that I can reach with my vision. The other thing that I see a lot between us is and I think you and Jay had hit on this last night was this competition piece,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have to drop the notion that there's a pie. There's no such thing as a pie,
So that's for all of
right?
us.
That's it. There's enough for it, it's plentiful. It's overflowing. And when I engage with other cultures, different cultures, they don't have a pie. You know what they do? A lot of like we are probably the only culture that holds back knowledge, holds back when we get something. And I think it actually comes from slavery and the mental kind of conditioning that our culture um, has had. But we have to get away from this notion that it's going to run out when we get something good.
Right.
It's plentiful. It's plentiful. If I have a restaurant on 4th Street and someone else starts a restaurant on 5th Street, it's plentiful. Just do good work. Both of you, just do good work.
Right.
Right?
Right.
The business, the product is going to speak for itself. And I say that as kind of um, as kind of an example of a lot of things, but the product will speak for itself. Just do good work, and both of you will eat. You know what I mean? Um, so I just believe that there's no pie, there's a universe. In the universe, there's no end to it. So if you're in the universe, whatever universe, if it's doing shows, if it's bars, if it's whatever it is, it's a universe, right? Because it's not just because this man succeeds, it's taken away from your success.
Right.
That's a myth. That
Right.
doesn't happen,
Right.
right? There was Tupac and Biggie.
Right. Right.
There's Jay-Z, there's Nas, there's a lot of greats that do the same exact thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Healthy competition is good. Don't take it too
Absolutely.
far. It's good. But man, when you're great, just be great, you
Right.
know? And so I'd say all that to say that's one thing that's kind of unsettling with me when I watch it and I see it quite often is that you know we think that someone's success is taking something off our plate.
Mm-hmm.
We are the controller of our own universe,
Right.
right? People have done even the little things that I'm doing. People have done this over and over again, two and three times.
Right.
Yeah, you're really never going to do anything that someone hasn't done, and if it is something that someone hasn't done, you're probably be Mark Zuckerberg
Right.
or
So
Steve
when
Jobs.
like pretty much from what you're saying, I mean from what I'm hearing, so is it times when you giving up free game, you offering information and advice and
I try to offer free game as much as possible, because here's why. Here's why I want people to do what I'm doing. One, because I'm passionate about what I'm doing, right? And more of what I'm doing is a good thing for me, right?
right, right,
So that's one thing. But two, I'm not gonna be here forever. No one's good. No one makes it out alive.
right,
But we want this to keep going. We want legacy to still continue to build, right? And as long as the mission is fulfilled, right? As long as kids in this aspect, kids are being implanted with good and with progress and with knowledge, as long as that keeps going in whatever form, if I can help continue to build that and duplicate that, then it's going to live forever. Now we're changing those generations like we're supposed to, like we're made to do, right? And I think knowledge is the biggest thing with us, man. We get a hold of something and then we try to keep it like it's gonna run out. We gotta stop doing that.
right.
When you
Yeah,
get it, share it.
Yeah.
Do what you're going to do with it, but then share it. You
Exactly.
know what I
I
mean?
agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And like what you were saying, when it comes to the competition, like a lot of us, I'm gonna say us because I'm part of the problem sometimes as well. Like a lot of us in Erie feel like we have something that's so good, we don't want to tell nobody. We want to try to figure it out and do it all on our own. And it's difficult reaching out and asking for help. And that's like the stubbornness of us as men kind of gets in our way. Sometimes we feel like we got to be tough and we got to figure it all out on our own so we can say I got it out the mud and did it by myself. But I mean, I definitely I agree with that what you said there because I'm a firm believer in asking for help. I done reached out to you plenty of times, bro. I'm going through it. I need some advice. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
so I ain't got no problem asking for help or reaching out for help. But I wanted to kind of come back to what you said when you mentioned something about like the mentality and the mental is slavery. You know what I mean? But not even slavery, but just when I hear the word mental, I'm a huge. I say it all the time. I'm a huge advocate for mental health. You know what I mean? So when you said what you said, you're 43.
43.
43 years old. Okay, so as far as 43 years old, I mean, as far as you being a man 43 years old, like, what's your thoughts on mental health? And if you are enlightened or open to it, what was your journey into understanding the importance of it?
Nah, mental health for me, um, my mental health happens in a couple of things. I know you guys were talking about, um, getting help from, psychologists, and things like that, counseling. I'm actually in counseling.
Okay.
Here's how I think of mental health, right? And to just make it simple for you, for an athlete. This is as an athlete, this is how I think about it. As an athlete, we train, right? We have to train. We have to be strong for our season, right? My brain is a muscle. I need to train. That involves going to seek knowledge from others that are more knowledgeable to me on whatever subject. That involves going to the doctor. That involves going to a psychologist, sitting down, getting the problems out so my brain can start working on solutions, right? I'm very solution oriented, right? So there's some times where I get in my own head and I get down on myself. I gotta be trained to snap out of that and go get what I need, right? So mental health, man, I think is a very, very, you should have a practice for when you start kind of going inward, I call it, right? Negative talk, that's a sign.
Yeah.
That's a big sign.
Yeah.
Negative talk. The moment that happens, you need to have a mechanism to retrain, right? To start training, retrain your body. It's like atrophy of the brain is how I think about it, right? Um, so I'm a big proponent of mental health. I'm a big proponent of prayer and meditation. Still being quiet, listening to the spirit. Um, every day. I mean, I get up at between 4 and 4:30 every day. The first probably 45 minutes is just being still, you know, talking to God, praying. You know what I mean? Asking, thanking, whatever I need to do. Right. That time alone for me is a therapeutic practice
Mm-hmm.
to kind of get set my mind straight. Um, and then also from a mental health standpoint, what are you feeding your brain? What influences are you putting into your thought process? Because if you put, I'm a proponent of listening now. I used to be a reader, but now I do audible, and it's always going. And if you ever ride with me in my car, there's probably a book going,
I love it. I love it.
all the time. So I spend a lot of time in the car. But what are you feeding your brain, right? And so that actually helps the mental aspect of kind of that self talk, right? Because after a while, you start training, encouragement, start training Christ, you start training, whatever you're feeding your brain starts to come back up. So from a mental health standpoint, I think there's a couple of things like get a healthy practice, right? Of how you combat some of the symptoms. Um, talk to someone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
go
Yes.
go
Thank
talk to have someone. I mean, for me, I got a business mentor, I have a spiritual mentor, I have an actual psychologist. I mean, get a group that you
you.
can be real and just talk to about anything, right?
Right.
And you can bounce. So I think that's healthy. That's good, right? And then don't be so hard on yourself. Don't
So
be so hard on yourself.
when did you start discovering all, like, when did all this information become, I guess, relevant to you and you start applying the knowledge? Like, at what age did you realize this was important for you?
Yeah, to be honest with you, man, I had a traumatic event. A lot of people don't know this. I don't even know if I ever went or said it publicly, but I think I may have said it publicly. But I had a traumatic event in my life. I was about 16 because I know I was driving at the time because of what took place, and I was going to my sister's house on 22nd. It was close to the school year because I was about to get ready for school. Uh, my I had a Nautica something on. Nautica was big. Well, you probably don't know, but I know. And back in my day, Nautica was big.
You eat
I
that a
was
little.
Nautica down, right? And my sister and my friend, God rest his soul, lived on 22nd Street. And I went to his house, and then I walked over to my sister's house, and somebody put a gun to my head. You know what I mean? Was trying to rob me. Um, at that point, I think my whole perspective changed because at that time, like for me, like I wanted to be, I just wanted to do the rapping thing and do all the, and I think my perspective changed because I'm not ready to die, man. Like
Right.
you're not young, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think it was from that age. I think it was actually that was going into I want to say my sophomore year or going into my junior year, my sophomore year. I think that's when I left out and went to school. I went to Oak Hill at that time. And like right after that summer when I went to Oak Hill, that was like the first time I experienced other cultures
Okay.
because it was an international school. So you had, you had white people, you had Asian people, we had an Iraqi prince in our school, like, and it was cool because I took the tact of when I go here, I'm just gonna learn people. Like I ain't gonna be the crazy young bull that's trying to prove myself. I'm just gonna learn people, man. And I grew quite popular on the campus with everyone. You know what I mean? The Iraqis, I was learning, their culture. The Chinese kids, I was learning their culture, and I learned a whole lot, man. And it really opened my eyes. It was almost like when X went to Mecca, when Malcolm X went to the Mecca, right?
Hmm.
He saw all these different types of Muslims. He was like, hold on, man, it ain't all militant in it. That was kind of an epiphany that I had, like, yo, there's other things out here.
Right.
So just open my eyes. And from that point on, man, like when I came back, I was different. I was a different kid. And just kind of continued that practice until now.
That's what's up, man. For, like, yeah, I talked to a lot of different people about that subject, and I mean, for you to be doing it for so long, I'm pretty sure you're used to having those conversations. But like the stigmas that come with that in our community, like I think that's a huge barrier that we need to break because a lot of people, a lot of us need help. You know what I mean? A lot of us like just growing. Some of us grew up poor. Some of us grew up where our moms had to work 2 and 3 jobs, where we raising our siblings and stuff like that. And people don't understand the effects that has on your mind. You know what I mean? And then how when you have those effects on your mind, how it affects your body and so on and so forth. You keep going. But like, man, it's good to hear you talk about that, especially for you to come on here and be able to say, you see somebody, you talk to somebody, you seek help. Because again, like I said, I'm a huge advocate for it. I talk about it all the time. I had a session today. My session was amazing. So like, yeah, I love to hear that. I love to talk about that type of stuff on a regular basis. But I wanted to kind of like get back to, the reason why I'm having these conversations is because I feel like us as men, we're missing something. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's the camaraderie of one another, like the togetherness, like coming along and just feeling
Yeah.
comfortable with, giving praise to another man and then asking another man for help. Like, what's your thoughts on that as far as like, because you said you mentioned that the 100 men, like that's a great thing, and I want to hear more about that as well. But like, as far as us as men, like, what more do we need to do, man, so we can be better?
Here, I'm about to mess your head up because it messed my head up the first time I encountered it. Right? When's the last time? And actually, I'm gonna be guilty of what I'm about to ask you. I'm gonna be guilty because I need to do it again. I need to do it often now because I got away from it. When's the last time you told a black man who wasn't your family member, right? Who wasn't your family member and wasn't a close friend that you love him?
It wasn't a family member or a close friend.
or a close friend that you love them. Hey, I love you, black man. When the last time you uttered that to somebody that?
I mean, if you say not a close friend, I can't recall.
Think about that. It starts right there. Because in practice, someone did this to me, and actually another man that's in the fatherhood, that's running the fatherhood department at Erie School District. I want to throw Ron Paisley.
I'm gonna review him tomorrow. No,
yeah,
Saturday.
yeah. Make sure you
Ron
get
and
Ron.
Motown. Ron and Motown on Saturday.
So Ron was the first black man. Like me and Ron are cool. We tight now. But when I first met him, right? Not when I first met him, like when I first like started to, he was in my circle, right? He told me he loved me. I was like, I'm on some. Come on, man. I was kind of young. I was about 30 or something, like 33 or something like that. And I'm on no, come on, man, no homo, man. I'm on that type of vibe, right?
Right.
But he would do it all the time. And I'm like, hold up. Then I started doing it. So think about that. Yeah. That's the core of where we as black men need to start. That verbal communications transfers to the heart, right? Then it's true. Then it's like it's real. So now, however we move, we understand that it's in love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the vernacular we're using. It's not weird. That's the vernacular we're using with one another. I'm real big on language, man. I'm real big on what we say because what we say manifests our actions, right? And I'm always watching actions, always. You tell me anything, your actions gonna tell me everything I need to know, right?
Right.
So when a black man tells me he loved me, now I'm like, okay. At the time, I'm like, okay, I'm skeptical of that. You just tell me you love me, right? But now I'm looking at, man, the sacrifice. Okay. I don't even got close friends who do that.
Right.
Then people are like, how y'all friends? How y'all? Nah, man, there's that synergy here. You know what I mean? Because now not only has he expressed that, and we don't hear that a whole lot as black men, now he's showing it. Now that bond is strong. You know what I mean? We even can fall out. The bond the love is still there because we know it comes from love, right?
Right.
So I say that to say, like, fundamentally in practice, as black men, we need to start, hey, I love you, man. I love you because I respect the fact that you're a black man. I know exactly what you're going through.
So how do you get somebody to, because like you said, it made you a little uncomfortable at first. Like, how do you get somebody to understand, acknowledge it? Or how would you tell me? I'm 36 years old. Like, when I'm young, a little younger, like one of my friends, a good friend of mine, Dear's, like he told me all the time, get out the car, I love you, bro. Like the first time he said it, I'm just like, what's up with you? You know what I mean? And like I still like it's times where I will say it back to him because now I know I may not see him for a while, but when I'm seeing you every day and you telling me this, is kind of like, you know what I mean? So what would you like? What made you feel more comfortable with being open to accepting? You said was it through his actions, or was it like you had to become more secure in yourself?
It's through his actions too, but for me, it's like for me to now express it, Ani, I can tell you undoubtedly I love you. You know what I mean? But for me, as I practice that and I try to be intentional about it now until it becomes just the norm, right? So for me, like I'm still even in that stage, and I've known Ron for about 10, 15 years now. We've been, you know what I'm saying? So, but I don't even think he don't even know this, but he the one who taught me that. He taught me that just by that expression, just by him expressing it. And it may be completely normal for him. I've never talked to him about this, but I've adopted that now as much as I can. Hey, I love you, bro. I love you, man. When I talk to my young boys, when I talk Delquan to tell you, the first time he looked at me like, you know what I'm saying? I love you, boy. Come here. No matter what, I love you. Black men need to hear that. We don't hear it. We don't hear it enough. You know what I'm saying? And so I just adopted it in practice, and I'm gonna keep adopting it until it just becomes a part of life, you know. And as I keep adopting it, maybe someone else will get that epiphany and they'll adopt it, and then the cycle will just go on. Because once we know that we're loved, we're gonna move mountains, man. As simple as that.
Yo, that's crazy. Listen, man, Jesse was saying the same thing. Like when it comes, once you get that love and you feel love, it's like There's nothing you can do. I think Jason said the same thing too when he was talking about coaching the boys, with a young men, and he got them on the field. And once they feel that love, it's just like, they know it's real. And then when you show them, because you answering the phone for them and you taking them under your wing and you doing all that stuff. But then it's like, okay, that's cool. And then on top of it, I was asking him about compliments. So then even like compliments, like how clearly if you think saying I love you is important, you have to think like giving the black man a compliment or telling him he look nice or good job or, you know what I mean, just praising him for some of his accomplishments. Like how important do you think that is in the development as us as black men and building better relationships with each other?
Yeah, compliments are as important as taking a bath.
So what? Say that again?
Compliments are as much of an importance as taking a bath.
Okay.
We
Why do
need
you
them,
say that?
and we need them every day.
Why do you say that? I need your insight on that.
Think about it. Think about this. Think about this. What allows you more than anything? I just think about it in sports, right? This is just a microcosm of the world, right? What allows you more than anything to keep going? And if you're a runner, right, and you're running a marathon, what do you need outside of water?
Is this a rhetorical question? You want me to answer? I ain't no runner. I ain't running nowhere, but I know
You
like
need somebody cheering you on. If
I
you're
was about
playing
to
a
say, I need
basketball,
rewards. I need a coach. I need a cheerleader. I want somebody.
think about it. Think
I
about
want
it.
people to let me know that I'm doing a good. Even when I know I'm doing a good job. For
Think
me, like
about it.
I'm huge. I love compliments, man. I tell people I give flowers because I want. I don't give flowers I give flowers because I want flowers. You know what I mean? So
Listen,
I know compliments make me feel like you look good, you feel good. You know what I mean? Like all of that. So
think about it. If you're getting compliments, think about that man who ain't getting compliments, and what he likes it too.
right.
You know what I mean? And but here's the thing too, black men culturally, right? We think that's soft.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm a man. I'm a man.
Right.
Nah, bro. Because when you shooting that ball in the hoop or running that touchdown, what you feeding off of?
Uh
Compliments. Thousands of compliments.
huh.
You
Yeah.
feel me? You need
Yeah.
that in life. It's as important as taking a bath. I would love, now, not to say that I don't get it, but I would love for my wife when I wake up in the morning to be like, baby, you a king. You about to go kill this shit. Come on, man. I'm about to, man, we making millions today. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Think
Right.
about it. You need it.
Right.
Everybody needs it. You know what I mean? In whatever respect you're in, everybody need it. In your relationships, if you're playing sports, if you're in school, we don't compliment our brothers and sisters. I think I heard you and Jesse talk about getting a degree and no one's throwing a party, right?
Right.
We
Right.
we we don't we don't compliment enough for education, right? We need
Right.
to compliment for that because here's what I'll tell you about compliments too. It's edification, right? So what you edify, what you put on a pedestal, is going to get duplicated.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got you.
So think about what we do when brothers go to get out of jail, come out of jail, right? Culturally,
Uh-huh.
most times, oh, he free, yeah,
We
let's party.
celebrate.
We're edifying that activity. So you don't think our brothers that go to jail look forward to going to jail, coming out to get a party? What are we promoting? So what you edify, and this is actually a business tactic when you're trying to get your employees to produce
Mm-hmm.
and you want them to follow a certain process, you edify the activity you want duplicated. Because if I publicly edify you and everyone's listening, what do you think they're going to strive to do? They want edification.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why compliments are so important.
Okay. And like I said, like I'm a firm believer in it. I give compliments. I told it. Me and this guy was talking today. I gave him a book. He going through a rough time, and he think money gonna solve all his problems. I gave him a book to read. He hit me this morning like, yeah, I woke up 7 o'clock. I'm reading. I'm like, I'm proud of you, bro. Like, thank you.
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
he was, people be shocked about that. I tell people, I'll tell people I'm proud of you. I say that often. I love you. I don't say that often, but I'm gonna work on that. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna make sure I mention that to Mr. Ron too when I talk to you on Saturday.
yeah. He
Hopefully,
gonna know because he do it all the time. He gonna know. He definitely he is interesting. He probably don't know how impactful that was for me, but he does it all the time. You know.
okay, all right. So then, man, I had another question I wanted to ask you because I was talking about compliments and I was talking about giving praise and stuff like that. So, like, what about I don't like to use the word, but bragging. You know what I mean? Or I guess bigging yourself up. Like, what's your
Yeah.
thoughts on that as far as like me being proud of my own self and feeling comfortable enough to be able to speak about it without having to worry about making somebody feel less than?
Yeah, you know what? For me personally, I got no problem with people celebrating their accomplishments, man. I mean, listen, life is glory to glory, right? And if no one else cheering for you, why can't you be your own cheerleader? You feel me? So I got no problem with that, man. When people it look like, for lack of a better term, bragging or boasting, I don't see it as that, man. I just see proud, right? Because a lot of times when you see folks that are talking about their own accomplishments, it's probably because the odds were stacked against them. Like when you really dig deep down into, either they didn't believe it or someone told them that they weren't going to be where they're at and they overcame.
Okay.
The important part of a bragging or accomplishment is the overcoming, right? And that's what I see. I just see, for the most part, if someone is singing their own praises, and fine with that. That means you overcame.
Right.
And I'm probably gonna jump right in with you. Yeah. Well, I
Right.
mean, let's have a party. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Exactly.
so for me, I got no problem with that, because no one knows your story like you, right?
Right. So then, and this word get thrown around a lot, and I haven't heard you say it yet, but I'm gonna ask you now. Like, what's your take on the H word? The whole humble versus humility. What's
Oh,
your
be
take?
humble.
Humble
Yeah.
versus humility. Take us to school a little bit.
I'm an old head. Ain't there a song? Be humble. Who's saying that? Be humble.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, he's saying that. Be humble song. Man, listen. um, there's a difference between practicing humility and being humble, right? I I truly don't add the aspect of bragging or boasting in any of those, because if you don't want to hear someone's success, that's their success. It may not be your success, or even if you're striving for that success, that's an inner problem, right? That's not the person who's overcome. That's not their problem, because they overcame. So the shift in mindset is, if that does bother me, then how can I overcome? Let me
Right.
go learn, right? Um, so humility for me is seek first to understand before being understood. I need to understand. I need to know where that's coming from, so that I have a clear depiction of what I'm thinking in my head. If I'm thinking like, oh man, like you're a hole, man. You always bragging. Well, there's some information I may not have. But if I don't take the thing of, okay, well, tell me your story. What, okay, you did this and that. How you get there? You know what I mean? If I don't take that tack, I really can't be mad at that the overcomer, right? So humility in practice is to understand,
Okay.
to seek to understand.
I like it.
That's how I look at it. Humble, to be humble. When someone tells you, man, be humble, they're telling you to shut the fuck up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's
Thank you. You brought
that's
the first. Oh my God.
that's how I look at it. Like, okay, like you're not trying to understand where I'm coming from. I'm happy for what I've done. And for you to tell me to be humble, you're telling me to kind of like pipe down, but you don't care to understand where I'm from. So from that aspect, I kind of just keep it moving, right? You know, and for me, to be honest with you, I I don't think maybe I do in the outside world for those who know me, but I don't think I boast or brag about a whole lot. I just try to, what I call GSD. I'm always in GSD mode.
What is that?
Get shit done.
Okay.
I'm always in that mode, right? So like I just want to get to the next thing. I just want to get
Okay.
it done. I want to always be moving and be accomplishing. whatever the objective is. So
Just go mode, work mode.
just work mode, right? Just
Okay.
go,
Well, let
right?
me ask you this, right? Because I've been talking with my therapist about this, talking about working workaholic. So, with that being said, take us through some of your accolades and some of your accomplishments from high school up until today.
Whew, so there aren't many.
Let's go.
I led the city in scoring my senior year. That was the first kind of accomplishment
Okay.
for me. Actually, let me take that back. When I went to Oak Hill, it was my first time getting a 3.5.
Okay.
So that was the first accomplishment because my parents was crazy happy, right? I was happy too because I didn't think I'd do it. So I'm gonna give you some perspective on that. My ninth grade year, I had a 0.47 GPA.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
What, you wrote your name and left?
that's all. I didn't show up. I went to lunch and I came and go as I please. I have a
You don't strike me as that type. You don't strike me.
Nah. Eighth and ninth grade, man. I thought I was a thug, man. I was trying to do the Tupac thing, and I was rapping with my cousin, me and Delaney. We had a group called Too Young, I think it was Two and Young. Man, we were just doing all types of crazy stuff, man. But I had a good home life, but I was one of those kids who wanted, like, even still today, the mafia lifestyle just it intrigues me, right?
Uh-huh.
So I was one of those kids who would try to round everybody up, and we would be a squad, the mob. You know what I mean? I was
Uh-huh.
one of those kids. So yeah, ninth grade, I didn't do nothing in school. I barely showed up. 10th grade, I started playing basketball, and that kind of took me out of that that wave. And I
Okay.
think I was suspended for I was trying in school at that point. And I was suspended for a little bit. I think I had like a 1.8. I missed a 2.0, and I didn't want to ever not play basketball again, man, because I grew a love for the game. So from there, that's when I started really focusing on like my schoolwork, right?
Okay.
So then I was getting pretty good at basketball. Went to Oak Hill. Steven Jackson, actually, George Floyd's best friend,
Uh-huh.
Steven Jackson, was my mentor at Oak Hill.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he took me around, man, and we played pickup. You know what I mean? I'm throwing oops to him. He vouched for me like, coach, he got to be on the team. He's just mad cool. And so I made the Oak Hill team. I would say that was the next accomplishment.
Okay.
Was playing on a national level and getting that experience, man, hanging with NBA players, all that stuff. That was cool. Come back here, kind of start falling back my senior year into just being a knucklehead a little bit. Was still playing ball, led the city in scoring. That was the next thing. But then lost the D1 kind of scout look, right? I was supposed to go D1. I ain't go that. But then was playing at Spoons on Roe Benjamin's team. Jerry Slocum was coming up to scout Rich Bush, who was coming back from IUP, and Shannon Wiley, right? I think I caught a oop at Spoons. I think Roe threw me the oop, and I banged it at Spoons hard. And Jerry Slocum looked at Cass Wright. He was like, "Where's Cory going to school?" At the time, I wasn't going anywhere. I was about to go to JUCO, and he told me to come down. The next day, he offered me a college scholarship, full ride,
Off of playing basketball at Spoons and him
at
catching you.
Spoons.
Okay.
So I my right hand to God. So right there, I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, like they want me to sign this paper for a 5-year scholarship at Gannon. Like he was like, man, if you don't hang this phone up and sign that. So sign right there. The very next day, we went down, we played open gym with him. He pulled me and Rich into the office. He offered us a scholarship. Sign right there. Me and Rich, me and my best friend would go to school together. Right?
You said Rich Bush, right?
Yeah, Rich Bush.
Yeah, Jesse was shouting him out last night.
Hell of a dude, man. His story, he could write a book.
That's what I heard. He could
write a book. Like the things that I learned from him, we'll be here a whole nother 3 hours. I ain't gonna even go there, but get him on your show.
All right.
And just let him open up about just his story, because his accomplishments and everything. I'm just gonna brag on him a little bit. This dude,
this 2 days in a row, I gotta meet him.
In 11th grade, was the number 2 scorer in Pennsylvania behind Kobe Bryant, bro.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant averaged 30.1. Rich Bush averaged 28.9 or 29.8. Wow. Bro, I can go on it. There's like and here's the thing, like most of the part of his life, I was right there with him
Uh-huh.
and seeing all the accomplishments and like, yeah. He got a heck of a story. He got a
Okay.
heck of a story.
So we got the 3.5, we got the Oak Hill, we got the
Got
Gannon
okay,
scholarship.
got the Gannon, right? So here's my and it's a small win for me, but my other people may not think it's an accomplishment, right? So my last year at Gannon, right, I had to do an intern. And a lot of people in Erie might remember this. That Starbucks on Fifth Street,
Mm-hmm.
I opened that. That was my intern.
Okay.
Was opening and running and training, doing that Starbucks on Fifth Street. So I always pride myself on that. I learned a lot about business
Uh-huh.
because it caused me to read Howard Schultz's book on Starbucks, One Cup at a Time.
Okay.
One of the best business books ever, right?
One cup at a
So
time.
one cup at a time. It's how he built the Starbucks franchise from like the very first story. He tells the whole story. It's amazing, right? So I got to learn, the businesses and managing and running, and it was just a cool experience. But coupled with that, I got to see all the business people come through in the morning and get their coffee. So I was just networking with a lot of people, man. Just bing, bing. I remember Rick Griffin. He came down there, developer on 12th Street. He came down there constantly every day. So just getting to know these people, man. So I think that kind of kickstart what I was going to get into. So after that, I think I did that for about a year and a half, a year or two, right? Um, my girl at the time, even now, was with me through this whole journey, right?
Okay.
So I'm making $300 every 2 weeks. That was the income, right? Working at Starbucks, we in a little apartment on Fifth Street, man. I think it's a 1 bedroom, like little shack, man. We just climbing, right, going through the ranks. So after that, after Starbucks, I get a deal, or I get an interview with the publishing company that I'm at now, right? Um, didn't think anything of it, but I've been there for 20 years, man.
Well, now
I've
you
been
say
there for
when you say publishing company, so what's that? What are we doing over there? What are you doing?
so what I do over it's called Life Science Connect, right? So I connect the drug manufacturers with the drug makers, right? So like Pfizer, they make very little drugs, right? They make some of their drugs on their own, but they make very little. They outsource that to
Okay.
manufacturers. I kind of broker some of those deals. I make those connections between the two,
That sounds
right?
like
So
a
I've
big
been
deal. That sounds like a big deal from the chair I'm sitting in.
well, it's work, man. It's corporate America. You know what I mean?
That's a modest way of saying, yeah, that is a
It's
big deal.
corporate America. But so I got that gig. So that's another accomplishment. And, and the other accomplishment is like growing up through that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm senior. I'm kind of, you know what I mean? But growing up through that and then, kind of making that company tens of millions of dollars, right? It's for me that's a pretty cool thing. And I'm kind of at the end of my shift there where I'm looking at retirement. But um
You said you're looking at retirement.
oh yeah. That's one after. So July 7th will be 20 years, and then that's my retirement clock is I
Okay.
may give up
Okay.
corporate America, man.
So you done did the
Um,
corporate American thing. Now we got what you got the school now.
Now to school, right? So before that though, it was Keystone Hoops, the basketball company, man. It was
Okay.
youth, it was the kids, and that's a funny story because I think the biggest accomplishment from that standpoint was crossover,
Okay.
right? And that's when I started. That's when I started becoming closer in synergy with Ron Paisley,
Okay.
right? Because we were coaching at Vincent together, and one year we were just like, man, there's no summer basketball here, man. So we started this whole nonprofit, started crossover basketball, man, together, and it
Also,
was a
you and Ron
blast.
started that together.
Yeah.
Okay.
We started that together, and it was a blast, man. Like we started with Ron had been I was doing this Pittsburgh team called the Chromes. Ron was doing FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes basketball team, just kind of so we like, man, let's bring this together, man. We gonna build something here. Up comes crossover, man. So we built crossover. we went from, I think the first year we had like 2 teams. Then we went to like 20 something teams. It just blew up crazy. And what we needed like a fundraiser to fund all this stuff, right? So I started Keystone Hoops. I started doing the basketball tournaments, right? It was, for to bring it all together. And it was a way for the kids to be playing. We can invite teams to come in and play us. We ain't got to travel that much, and we can fund everything. So that happened. And then and obviously my company wanted me to go launch an office in Pittsburgh, which is why I'm in Pittsburgh right now, and that's kind of flourishing right now. And so I did that at that time, and then that's when Ron like took crossover and ran with it, made it the crazy good organization that it is today, right? So those two in themselves are accomplishments. So we
Right,
talk
right.
about the next accomplishments from there. And so then we fast forward to 2 years, actually 2018, when I started working on a business plan for Keystone Academy, right? And I'm like, listen, I really, to be honest with you, it's God's plan. It's not mine, because I prayed hard on it before I start writing that business plan. I knew what was going to come. I knew it was not a time. I knew we needed money. I knew all that, but I asked God to provide it. I said, provide it, get in the hearts of people. I'm coming. I'm gonna do my part. You do the rest, right? So I put that business plan together, man. Put the pitch deck together for Keystone Academy, what we had envisioned. Because at the time, we were on a national summer program with Adidas.
Okay.
I was kind of partnered with my VP and another gentleman that, we were kind of on this Adidas circuit. So we saw the best of the best, like the next NBA players all summer. So I'm like, listen, we need an institution. Like, we need a school, right? So put the business plan together, man, made the pitch, then COVID hit, right? So we had to sit on it for 2 years or whatever it was. And then we came back, made the pitch again. The first time we made the pitch, it got turned down. Then I'm like, okay, God, you really don't want me to do this. I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? And then come back around and like come back in. We want to hear this plan again, blah, 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 blah. Made the pitch, kind of refined some things and refined it. And it was granted, man. And here we are 2 years later from that. So another accomplishment, right? To be able to raise that much money to for this vision to play out. You know what I mean? So that brings me to now. That brings me to where I'm at now, man. I'm building these platforms for kids to kind of go further than we could ever go.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. But like, I know I do these often. I mean, well, I'm gonna say often, but when I finish these interviews, I always ask people like, "What can I do to help you?" I don't feel like it might be much I can do to help you, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Like, what is it that you got going on that I might be able to be of some type of assistance, or how could you help me?
Yeah. I tell you what, man. Whatever you need, you can reach out to me. That's not even a question. Keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? When you need support, get support, but keep doing what you're doing, because this platform right here is needed. It's important. It's going to shape generations. We don't know what this content will do as it sits online 5 or 10 years from now. Come here, baby. You know what I mean? Baby girl, everything that we're doing it for her. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
And all those like her. So keep doing what you're doing, man. And then like you said, we got to get them out the car. Ask for help. Keep asking for help. And you know, that's how you can help, man. Get
All right,
involved. If you see, just like if I see you doing something, I want to be involved.
right.
If you see me doing something that you want to get involved in, get involved.
Okay.
It's nothing but a phone call. Hey,
All
man, I see you doing this, man. Let me move in there. Okay, let's find a way. You know
right.
what I
Got you.
mean?
Got you.
And just keep that open, keep that line open.
Well, man, listen, we've been going for like a good hour and 20 minutes, man. I appreciate your time. Appreciate
Absolutely.
all your insights. And like I tell everybody else, like, I want to make this thing of action. And then we're not just going to make this be words and interviewing. Like, I want to get everybody together. So I'm going to want some information on that 100 men thing. I
Yeah,
mean, but
I'll
even
get it to you.
outside of that, like, I want us to have some type of fellowship or some type of way that we
Yep.
can get together and we can actually do some things, even if it's just getting together and building relationships and and having that camaraderie. But before I let you go, I just want to know if you had any last things you wanted to say, any comments or any questions you might have had for me before we wrap.
No, no, I'll leave with anybody, any ears who hear this. There's no pie.
There's no pie. It's enough for
There's
everybody.
it's enough for everybody. There's no pie. Just reach out and ask for help. Ask for advancement. Ask for whatever it is you need. Shannon Pulliam always say his famous words. He'll probably laugh when he hear this. Closed mouth don't get fed.
Right?
so
Right.
so there's no pie, guys. There's no pie. We
All
can
right,
do whatever
man.
we want to do.
Well, God, appreciate your time, man. I'm gonna stay in touch with you. Hopefully, we can get together sometime within the next couple of days. If not, I understand as well. I'm gonna wrap this
Yeah.
one up and get ready for my next interview. I'm going live at 6:30. So, again, I appreciate your time. I
All right,
appreciate
I
you taking time. You come on, man. You
I
take care
love
of
you,
yourself.
boy.
I love you too, man.
All right.
Love you too. You have a good one.
You have one. Bye.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Cory Coleman on the Facebook Live. The social media show, the social experiment. I'm still working on this. This is all new, so y'all got to give me some time. Be patient with me, but I'm really having a good time doing this. I'm enjoying doing it. I got another interview going on at 6:30, so I'm about to walk across the street. I'm gonna get me a little something to eat, have me something to drink, and I'll be back within an hour. So y'all have a good day. And like I said yesterday, if you ain't tired of looking at me and if you ain't tired of hearing at me, make sure you check into my next video. I got Mr. Chauncey Bills up at 6:30 p.m. So y'all have a good rest of y'all day for an hour, and I'll see y'all back if y'all coming back. You take care.